If you're an artist coming into the studio with a song you've already written, this is the video for you. Sessions can look a lot of different ways. Sometimes we start something completely from scratch, or someone will bring in a couple lines that they've written and want to flesh out and turn into a full song, or you bring in a song that you've already completely written and it just needs to be produced. And while these tips can apply to any kind of session, I definitely think they are more geared towards the last of those options, where you're bringing in a song that you've written, you feel good about, and we're going to be producing and recording it together. You've got the idea for your song down, you've got the lyrics, you've got the vibe, but you got to turn it in to a real song that you want to put on Spotify, that you want everyone to listen to, that you want your mom to show her friends. They're definitely not rules by any means, but they do help make the process go so much smoother and be way less stressful for you, honestly, coming into a session. Like, you don't need to be pressed. So these are 5 things that I wish more artists knew before coming into those kind of sessions. Number 1, your demo does not need to sound done. Let's start here because I think this is a trap that artists fall into all the time, where they will try to make their demo sound perfect and just spend way too much time working on it. A voice memo is seriously totally fine for a demo. You don't need to play it to a metronome. You don't need to perfectly record your vocals. The goal of a demo is just to get the idea down and get the bones of the song figured out. It's not to make anything that anybody else besides you and your producer and maybe a couple friends are ever gonna listen to. I think Jack is a perfect example of not worrying too much about your demos. He doesn't play any instruments really, and so he always just sends me a cappella voice memos, and they're perfect.
Didn't know how fast the fast life was. Didn't understand you were on the run. I was so...
I think because he knows the vibe that he wants for each song and he kind of fleshes out his melody, a voice memo that's just him singing is enough to get us to where we need to go to finish the song.
Didn't know how fast the fast life was. Didn't understand you were on the run. I was so...
Jack, please don't record and drive. It makes me nervous for you. Love you. So it's okay for the demo to be a demo. Leave room for your track to evolve and kind of become its own thing, become what it wants to be. Like, I want to be in this turtleneck right now. I want to be Steve Jobs. Number 2, don't get demoitis. Now, if your demo is more fleshed out, or even if it's not, like I said in tip 1, doesn't need to be fleshed out, don't get too attached to it. Demoitis is a term that I learned about when I was in high school interning at a studio, and it kind of broke my brain. Basically, it's when you get so used to hearing your song a certain way, you get so used to hearing it as a demo, that is how it exists in your mind, and then anything else outside of that feels incorrect. And sometimes the thing you're hyperfixated on is not the thing that is making the song better or worse, it's just something that you have grown so used to listening to a certain way. Dane and I have been working together for a few years, and I think that he does a good job of fleshing out his demos. He doesn't do too much, but he really likes harmonies, and he usually puts those in his demos because he likes to make them. But I wanted to ask Dane about this one because he loves listening to them, and so I wanted to get his perspective on if he struggles with detaching himself from that version of the song.
This definitely has happened to me a lot in the past. It's funny though, because the longer that we've worked together, like, it hasn't happened to me as much. I feel like it's like because I write my music too, I feel like I'm attached to like that like magical feeling when you like first make it.
Right.
And you first write it and then you keep listening to it over and over. So then like when you start working on it with a producer or whatever, like it just, when you hear a different sound, sometimes in some cases it is like hard when you actually are attached. So
right.
I do know the feeling.
And I was also curious, like, of a song we've worked on together, he liked the demo more or liked the demo more for different reasons, or maybe had a hard time getting used to the new version but then realized, okay, this is cool.
So, thinking of back to Vampire Weekend, like my demo I feel like was really different. I feel like my demo was a lot like sadder. Listened to the demo recently and like kind of been like, oh, like I actually really like this version too. It's like the sad version.
It's making me weak and stop singing Vampire Weekend. You know that it's making me weak.
It is hard to, you know, hear like the more like legit version or whatever, like the better version at first sometimes if you are attached and you have been listening to it, which I tend to do a lot.
Dane's demo versus Jack's demo that we heard earlier are completely different in their execution, I guess you could say, but in both cases we end up creating a finished song that they love, so it doesn't matter. So just remember, your demo is a draft, it's a demo, and your final song is gonna feel so much better. This is a big one. Number 3, know the message of your song. Before you start recording, I think it is super important to be clear with both yourself and your producer what your song is really about. I always ask, kind of as a joke and kind of not, what is your thesis? My partner's an English major, how could I not? But what I'm really trying to do is understand like the core of the song, what it means to you, what you wrote it about, what you want people to take away from the song, what you want people to feel when they listen to it. Knowing that, I think, really just helps make stronger production choices, nail the emotion that you're after in the vocal, and just get the song feeling right, feeling like the way it should based on what you wrote it about. Tell me your thoughts about Janet.
Okay, so Janet is about a flying car, right? You know, like a spaceship car. So when I think about songs that are about space, I think of like David Bowie in the 70s, you know?
And even if you can't describe it in like technical music terms, even just knowing the feeling, like I want this song to feel sad, I want this song to feel happy, I want to party to this song, that is enough to help steer the ship. Number 4, make a reference playlist. I'm sure you've heard or even been asked, what's your reference for this song? And that's cool, that's super helpful, but what I think is even more helpful is making a reference playlist. And what I mean by that is create a playlist that your song could live on. Like when your song is completely finished, it's on Spotify, your song would be the perfect fit on this playlist. This helps us move away from accidentally copying something. We've all been there, and instead lets us kind of build out a world for your song to live in. And it's fun to make a little playlist. Who doesn't like making a playlist? I wanted to get Rory in the shot, she looked really cute. I worked on an EP with 𝐶𝐭. You can stream some of her music now on Spotify if you want. But this was the reference playlist that she sent over to me for one of the songs, Fake Friends. And you can see they're all like indie pop. They're all very vocally driven. The production is on the chiller side and really lets like the vocals and the vocal harmonies come through. And this is how the song turned out based on those references.
Top-notch, big dog, completely controlled by the world. But at least I got my fake friends on the weekend telling me.
So you can tell, like, if Fake Friends was on the playlist with these songs, I'd stream it. Number 5, don't be afraid to speak up. This one might be the most important, at least to me. If something doesn't feel right to you about the song, it is okay to say that. I love it when artists speak up and say they don't like something, because to me, it feels like they trust me and feel good about our relationship enough to be completely honest, and they're not worried about hurting my feelings, because that is not what making a song is about. So if a production choice isn't vibing with you, or you don't like a vocal take your producer picked, say something. And truthfully, this is something that I can struggle with. I sometimes have a hard time speaking up in sessions with maybe someone who is a few steps ahead of me in their career, or someone that I look up to, just because I'm worried about offending them or looking stupid. And I need to remember my own advice, because it's okay to say you don't like something. So if you're going into the studio with a song that you have written, try to keep these things in mind. And if you have any other tips, I would love to hear them in the comments. I think at the core, it's not about doing everything perfectly or being perfect. It's just about giving your song the best chance at being something that you feel good about, and to feel good while you're doing it. And if you're looking for someone to help bring your song to life, let me know. Write me a letter. I can help you. Okay. Love you, bye.